Alright, so the learning targets are that I can create linear function in slope-intercept form, standard form, and point slope. So now we're going to have one extra form here called standard form that we haven't done yet. Okay, I can recognize the equation of a horizontal and vertical line. Horizontal and vertical. Okay, so let's go through just a little bit of review here. Slope formula, should be awesome at this, is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, slope intercept is the same as y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. Okay, and point slope, which is y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay, so the new one that we're going to go through today is standard form. Alright, so standard form looks like this. Ax plus by equals c. Okay, so again we got our x and our y in there, and we'll talk a little bit later, I think next unit maybe, or later in this unit, what a, b, and c could represent. Okay, but the important thing here that we need to look at is where a and b cannot equal 0. So in order to be in standard form, we can never have a be 0, we can never have b be 0. Okay, a must also always be positive. Okay, so if it's negative, we'll show you down here the steps that you take to change it, but it has to be positive. Okay, so a, b, and c must be integers. Okay, so we can't have any fractions or decimals. Okay. Alright, so our steps for writing the equation in standard form. So we want to rewrite the equation in the order so it looks like this. So we have our x, then our b term, our x, then our y, and then the other side is just going to be our constant, our c. Okay, so if a is negative, if this term happens to be negative, we have something like 2x, negative 2x plus 3y equals 4. We want to multiply every term in the equation by negative 1. So I would do something like this. Okay, and we'll go through an example like that. A, b, and c must all be integers, so they can't be decimals or fractions. If they're not integers, we're going to multiply every term by a constant that will make them integers. So let's say I had something like this. Alright, what could be a number that I can multiply everything by to get rid of that? 2, that fraction, I'm going to multiply everything by 2. Okay, and that would cancel. Alright, and we'll go through examples like that too. Alright, so let's look at number 1. So I want to flip this around so that I have ax plus by equals c. So I want x, y, constant. Alright, so right now this x is over on this side. I want to move it to the other side. So it's positive right now, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Okay, so over here I'm going to rewrite it just like before when we tried to get y by itself. I'm just going backwards. So negative 2x plus y equals, over here those cancel, and on the right side I'm left with negative 7. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about up here. Alright, these all need to be integers, which they are. They're positive or negative whole numbers. Alright, but the leading term, my a, cannot be negative. So I need to multiply everything by negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 times negative 2x. Alright, a negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 1 times y is negative y. Okay, and I need to do the other side too. Negative 1 times negative 7 is 7. Alright, let's look at 2. Okay, so again, I got to move this over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2/5 x. I'm going to subtract 2/5 x. Alright, so I have negative 2/5 x plus y equals negative 3. Alright, what problems do I have here? One, these aren't all integers. I have a fraction here, so that's no good. Alright, this is also negative. So I gotta multiply this by a fraction. Alright, so I'm gonna clear that out. I'm gonna get rid of that 5. So I'm gonna multiply everything by 5. Okay, so 5 times negative 2/5. If you guys need to put that in your calculator, you can put it in your calculator, but it's going to be negative 2x. 5 times y is 5y. And 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Okay, what problems do I still have? I still cannot have that negative. So now I'm going to multiply everything by a negative 1. Okay, so negative 1 times negative 2x is 2x. Negative 1 times 5y is minus 5y. Negative 1 times negative 15 is 15. Okay, once you guys get good at it, I would have actually multiplied this by negative 5. Alright, because I know I would have to do both, and that would have done it all in one step. But right now, I would probably take 2 steps just to get good at it. Alright, so let's look at our instructions here. It says to write the equation in standard form for each of the following. You'll need to write an equation in either slope-intercept form or point-slope form first, and then rewrite it in standard form. You will not begin with standard form. Alright, so even though it says write the equation in standard form, I know that I can't go straight to that form. I don't have the information I need. So I need to start with either point slope or y equals. So I'm going to start with point slope over here. I'm going to do this one both ways. So point slope, I'm going to do y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, and I'm going to plug these in. Y minus y1 is negative 2. My slope is 4. And my x1 is 0. Okay, so this is really y plus 2, because I could change those to a plus. And then I'm going to distribute this. 4x. Okay, move this up here. Okay, and I'm going to subtract. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move this y over here. Minus y minus y. So then I have 2 equals 4x minus y. Okay, and I could just flip these around. I'm going to move this whole thing to this side. And I'm going to move this to that side. Alright, and that's the same thing. So that works. Alright, yesterday, if I wanted to start with y-intercept, okay, my y-intercept, well, that point here is 0, negative 2. So my b is negative 2. My slope is 4. So my equation is y equals 4x minus 2. Okay, now I could subtract 4x. Okay, and then what do I have to do? I have a negative out front, so I'm going to multiply the whole thing by negative 1. So I get 4x minus y equals 2. Okay? Same thing. So it doesn't matter which way you do it. You could pick either this way or this way. I did it both just to show you, but it's the same thing. Okay, let's go to 4. Alright, so again, it says write the equation in standard form of a line that passes through these points. So it doesn't tell me the slope. I know to write it in point slope, I'm going to need to find the slope. So let's do that first. So I need to use my slope formula. Okay, negative 3 minus 3, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I get negative 6 over negative 3, which equals 2. Okay, I'm going to pick this point and I'm going to plug it in here. So I'm going to do it over here. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Okay, my slope was 2. The point is 1, 3. So y minus y1. My slope is m x minus 1. Okay, so let's go ahead and simplify this. I have 2x minus 2. Okay, and now I want to get this in standard form. So I need my constants over on this side, and I need my x over here. So I'm going to move my x over. Okay, so I have negative 2x plus y minus 3 equals negative 2. And now I need to get my constant over on this side. So I'm going to add 3. Okay, so I have negative 2x plus y equals, those canceled, negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Okay, and again, I can't have that leading term be negative, so I got to multiply this whole thing by negative 1. Okay, so I get 2x minus y equals negative 1. Okay, if you got to pause this and rewind it, all right, to see it again, just to be sure, go ahead and do it. All right, so 5, write the equation of a horizontal line that passes through the points negative 2, 8. All right, so let's see what that looks like. Draw a graph here. Negative 2, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's a point there, and I know that it's going to be a horizontal line. Okay, so how would you write that equation? A horizontal line is always y equals, and that goes through 8. Okay, so that's how I write my equation. If it's horizontal, it's y, and I just take that y point. Okay, if it's a vertical line, okay, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2. So there's the point, and I know it has to be a vertical line that goes through that point. So if you had to write the equation of this vertical line, you'd say x equals negative 2. Okay, so if it's a vertical line, all right, I'm going to take that point, and it's going to be x equals that. All right, so let's look at 6. Okay, so Tom runs a local car repair shop in Palos Hills. The amount he charges to fix a flat tire is C. Okay, it's represented by C equals 30 times H plus 35, where H is the number of hours worked. So what is the initial cost for materials? So there's always a cost that he just charges you, no matter what. All right, so regardless of how long he takes to work on it, he's going to charge you $35. So what is the initial cost? It's 35. All right, how much does he charge per hour? So H is the number of hours. So how much does he charge per hour? Charges $30. Okay, I got that from right there. Okay, what will it cost if the repair takes 30 minutes? All right, so that means my H is 30 minutes. Okay, the key here though is that it needs to be in hours. So how much of an hour is 30 minutes? 0.5 or 1/2. Okay, so I need to do cost equals 30 times 1/2 plus 35. Okay, 30 times 1/2 is 15. 15 plus 35 is 50. Okay. How long did the mechanic work if Tom charges 95? So that means that the total cost was 95. Okay, so my equation is going to be 95 equals 30h plus 35. Okay, now this is just a normal old equation. I want to solve for h. So I'm going to subtract 35. Okay, so I get 60 equals 30h. I'm going to rewrite it. 60 equals 30h. Now I got 30 times h. How do I undo that multiplication? I got to divide each side by 30. So I get h equals 2. So how long did he work? He worked for 2 hours. Okay. Alright, you guys need to finish all these U-tries for homework. I think there's only 5 problems. Alright, if you need to go back and work through those, watch the videos again, pause them and check them out, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Hope you guys had a nice long weekend.